Hey y'all, Chelsea and Danny here.
Enjoy this episode of Today's Homeowner here on YouTube.
Everybody loves to improve their home. This week, we'll show you 5 great ideas for the inside of your home.
Today's Homeowner with Danny Lipford, the voice of home improvement, with projects, tips, and ideas to help you improve your home.
You know, there's really only one environment that you can control, and that's the environment that you create inside your home. Well, this week we're looking at 5 different projects that have been requested by viewers that'll make your home more attractive, more comfortable, and more efficient. Now, hard surfaces like hardwood floors have been very popular for a number of years. They're hotter than ever now, and we'll show you what's involved in installing a hardwood floor. Lighting, improving your lighting in any room of your house will definitely improve the look of the room. Ceiling fans, they've been around a long time, still very effective to keep you nice and cool during the summertime, but also can help maximize your heat you have in your home by recirculating that heat that may be trapped up near the ceiling area. Also, air conditioning systems. There's more air conditioning systems now than there's ever been before, and we'll give you some tips on how to keep your cool, and you might be tired of lugging that old vacuum cleaner around your home. Might be time for a central vac system. We'll get you up to date on that as well. Stay with us. The first project that we'll look at this week is installing a hard surface floor. A hard surface flooring like this composite marble or granite, ceramics, or porcelains have been very popular over the years in entryways, bathrooms, and kitchens. Now, one of the reasons for their popularity is that those 25% of Americans that are suffering from allergies are realizing it's a lot easier to keep a hard surface clean than it is a fabric floor like carpet. So a lot of people are changing out that carpet for a hard surface. Now, another hard surface floor that's finding its way in just about every room in the house, hardwood. These homeowners chose to include the kitchen when they recently updated the flooring in this home with hardwood. After the old flooring was removed, the subflooring required the addition of floor patch. This compound levels the surface, which is often necessary before the installation of a hardwood floor. The next challenge was layout. With the wood plank floor, you have to choose which direction you want the boards to run. And here it seemed that parallel with the hall made the most sense. So that's where we started. Working off of a straight line, running down the hallway, we applied a little adhesive to the subfloor and set the boards in place, one after the other. Each board was tapped up tight against the previous one, so there were no gaps, and the inseams of each row were staggered for a more random look. To finish it off, we installed quarter-round molding that was stained to match the floor all around the perimeter. The hardwood floor that these homeowners chose is a pre-finished engineered flooring, which basically means several very small layers of wood were laminated together. Then the finish with the stain and the sealer was applied in a factory environment so that they could really control the overall drying time, and very good hard surface and looks pretty darn good. Now, the regular 3/4 inch oak or maple are still available and still can be used on wood subfloors where you can nail it down, but here we had both concrete and wood subfloor to deal with, so this was the perfect choice that allowed us to glue everything down. Now, even with a hard surface floor of any kind, you have to keep it clean, so a fair amount of damp mopping will be necessary, but also it's a good idea to run a very good, strong vacuum cleaner over it from time to time to really pick up any of the sand or any of the dirt that might be down in the cracks and crevices. Now, hauling a heavy vacuum cleaner around the home is no fun, and a lot of people are realizing that central vac systems actually exhaust the air straight to the outside instead of recirculating the same air within your home, which can really improve your indoor air quality. So central vac systems are becoming very popular. This home already had an existing central vacuum system, but it was old and not too effective. Our solution was to remove the vacuum motor itself and replace it with a new model that's 5 times more powerful than the average vacuum. This unit is designed to handle up to a 6,000 square foot home and will connect to the existing PVC pipe in the house. What you should know is that this pipe isn't the same stuff you'll find on the plumbing aisle at the home center. So whether you're making repairs or installing a system from scratch, you'll need to find a supply source that carries PVC pipe for vac systems. Many homeowners that have central vac systems have told me they love the ability to just carry a hose and a few attachments around the house instead of that heavy vacuum cleaner. And the attachments that are available for central vac systems include a beater bar that's perfect for cleaning carpet, also other attachments for hard surfaces, and even attachments to get into the real tight places that you're bound to have to vacuum from time to time. Some other advantages of a central vac system include all of the noise is right here in one spot, and this one's located in the basement of this home, which is a fairly typical place for the location. Another advantage, your exhaust goes down and out of the house so that you're not mixing any dusty air with your indoor air, which can certainly affect your indoor air quality. And when it's time to empty out your vac, it's as simple as unclipping the canister, dumping it outside in the garbage can, maybe rinsing this side a little bit, then bring it right back in, clip it in place, and you're ready to go again. Now, in just a minute, we'll look at another central system that's very important in your home, especially when it comes to keeping you comfortable.
It's time for this week's simple solution from home repair expert Joe Truini.
Many homeowners have discovered what a professional looking paint job they can get by using painter's tape.
The great thing about this tape, it has a quick release adhesive, so you can stick it onto a piece of painted trim like this, and when you remove it later, it won't peel off the paint. In this case, we're running it along the piece of trim, and then I'm going to hang some lightweight plastic underneath it and drape it down, so when we paint the upper wall area, no paint will get on the trim or the paneling below.
Now, Joe, what do you think of the tape dispensers that are out on the market with the handle and you pop the tape on and you use it? What do you think?
Well, those are great for applying tape to broad surfaces, but to get it along the edge, they don't work so well. And also, they're so bulky, they don't fit in your pocket, and there's no place to lay them down, because typically when you're painting a room, you take all the furniture out.
That's true, yeah.
So what I prefer to do to keep the tape handy is just make this little holder from a bent wire hanger. It's just bent it into a U-shaped and bent the ends over so it would fit onto my belt. And you can see it just holds the tape really well. And when you want a piece, you just peel it off, tear it.
That's real similar to what the drywall guys use to hold their tape.
And it makes it really quick and easy to apply the tape. And you always know where it is. It's right at your side whenever you need it.
This week we're looking at a number of projects for the interior of your home. Now a couple that'll keep you kind of cool. First of all, a lot of people have found out about how easy it is to install a ceiling fan. You just want to make sure you're really securing it to something substantial. And another thing is, once you get the ceiling fan in place and you're using it, it's good to reach up where the switch is and switch it to reverse it summer and winter, so that during the summer the air is blowing down on top of you to keep you cool, and it should be running as you're looking up at it in a counterclockwise manner. Now, another system that's very important to the comfort of your home is your air conditioning system. And recently these homeowners had a brand new heating and cooling system installed, but before they had anything changed out, they had a professional do a size calculation on the house to make sure they were putting the right size unit in, and we tagged along to give you an idea of the process. Well, as you can see, the drop cloths are down, which means the work has started to replace the heating and cooling systems in this home. Now, this will make a big difference in the comfort of this family. Now, most of the work is taking place in changing out the old air handler units up in the attic, and that's where we'll find our contractor, Edward Leatherberry. Boy, you can really feel the heat when you start coming up the attic stairs. Edward, I don't know how your guys can handle this all day long.
It's almost 100 degrees up here, Danny, but we supplemented a little bit with the second system in the house.
Okay, so you're keeping one system running while you're replacing the other one. Obviously, I guess comfort for the homeowners as well as a little bit of survival up here.
That's right. It gets to 135 degrees. It's hard to stay in an attic without a little help.
Well, you guys are moving along well. Tell us how we've gotten to this point and some of the things that have taken place over the last day or so.
Well, we started off with a air handler with hydro heat and an evaporator coil in it with a spider duct system. A spider duct system are a bunch of flexible hoses going in every different direction. We took it out and are now putting in the main fiberglass trunk line, and coming off of that we'll have sheet metal pipe with 2-inch wrap insulation on top of it that'll hold up a lot better to the pressures of a variable speed air handler.
Well, I was surprised that you actually removed all of the ductwork. It seemed like it was in good shape. I know it was a different style than this, but why the replacement of everything?
For the comfort level of the homeowner and the distribution of the system, you really ought to have a good duct system, and that's not really considered good duct system.
Okay, I see. Now, challenges. I know at this point you usually find a few things that maybe were not anticipated ahead of time. Have you run into anything like that?
Yeah, Danny, we have the refrigerant lines on the existing systems weren't to the proper size. So these old refrigerant lines run down the wall to under the house into the slab. We can't follow the place of the older ones, so we have to come up with a new route. We're able to run them around the backside here to stay off the decked area, and have found a hollow chase from an old fireplace on the end of the house where the condensing units are.
Okay, so you'll be able to route all of the refrigerant lines from here out to there, and that's out to the condenser, right?
From both systems, correct.
Okay, so you have two separate lines going out.
Right.
Okay, I can see where that was a bit of a challenge. Now, we talked earlier about load calculation and how important it is for a heating and cooling contractor to really not just assume that the existing size units are big enough, but to really provide a load calculation. How exactly does that work?
Well, the load calculations take into effect the insulation in the attic, insulation in the exterior walls of the house, window area and direction that they're facing, which is probably the most important, whether they're double pane, single pane, and what direction they face.
Okay, well, one thing about it being hot up here, the guys are really working fast and moving along. And while they're up here working hard, we'll take a look at this week's best new products.
Let's join Danny at the Home Center to check out this week's best new product.
The use of more environmentally friendly building products, commonly called green building products, is more popular than it's ever been before. And here's one that's really catching on: cork flooring. Now, cork flooring has been around for a lot of years, but previous versions of cork flooring required you to glue it down to the floor. This is more like the laminate floors you hear a lot about. It has a tongue and groove that snaps together. No glue or nails are necessary to hold it in place. Now, the reason this is so environmentally friendly is that it's manufactured from the bark of the cork tree that's harvested, and the tree continues living up to 100 years, and you can harvest the bark about every 8 to 10 years. So it makes a lot of sense to continue harvesting the bark instead of cutting down a lot of trees to produce building materials. A few other properties that make this a good choice is that it has a bounce back feature so that it kind of reduces the fatigue on your feet and legs, and also it will not absorb any dust or release any dust into your air, so it'll improve the air quality that you have inside your home. Now, it's a fairly reasonably priced floor and a really good selection for just about any room in your home. Our next interior home improvement project involves improving the look of a room and the feel of a room by adding additional lighting. Now, my favorite way of doing that is to add recessed lighting, and there's a lot of recessed lighting fixtures to choose from. Obviously, one of the best places to start your pursuit in finding the right light fixture is a lighting showroom. Now, when you're in a lighting showroom like this, it's almost overwhelming because there's so many choices for lighting the home, both inside and out. Well, we'll start with one of the most popular types of lighting, recessed lighting. Now, recessed lighting is so popular and really versatile because you can provide the general lighting that you need for a room. Also, you may want to accent something in a particular room, like a focal point, maybe a piece of art or the fireplace mantle, or task lighting that directs the light exactly where you need it. Very important in a kitchen situation. Now, the recessed lighting starts with a recessed housing, or commonly called a recessed can, that consists of the housing itself where your trim and your bulb actually is positioned. Then you have the little arms that attach it to the ceiling joist itself. Then you have the little box for the wiring to be put together here on this side of the housing can. Now, this is a larger one and this is a smaller one, and again, it adds to the versatility to maybe use a little of both sizes in a particular room. Now, recessed lighting really is fairly easy to install, and there's several different ways to approach it. In a major remodel or new construction application, the housing can be mounted from the room itself by simply positioning it in the room, hammering it in place between the joist, and making all wiring connections. Then the drywall ceiling is mounted over the can, and a hole is cut out of the drywall to expose the light fixture. In a finished room, you locate the fixtures and cut holes in the ceiling from the room itself, then mount the housing over the hole from the attic side of the ceiling, making the electrical connections there as well. Another way to install recessed lighting in an existing room is to use what we call a remodel can. Now, this starts out with a little cardboard template that you find the location you want your light, and then you use this to mark and to cut the hole that you'll need. Now, once the hole's cut, You pull your wire down through that hole and go ahead and connect it. Then you fish this right into that hole, and these little clips slide into place to hold it secure against the back of the ceiling itself. Then you're able to install your trim, which is the next step in recessed lighting. Once your housing's in place, then your trims are next. Now these are a couple of the very standard trims. They're called baffles. This one black, this one's white, also available in chrome and silver and some of the other finishes, so that you can define exactly how you want the fixture to look. Now these basically clip right inside this and provides light straight down in the room. Now it's not uncommon to put 4, 6, maybe even 8 different recessed lights to really balance the light that you'll need in your room. Now another way of lighting is to maybe wash the wall a little bit, maybe an accent. This has a highly reflective film, and once your bulb's in place, and once you have these in position away from the wall a bit, it'll just wash that whole wall with light, and it really looks good over, say, a fireplace mantle. Now also, you have other adjustable type recessed lights called eyeball fixtures. Now an eyeball fixture is adjustable, that you can move the fixture itself around to direct the light right where you want it, and these are commonly used on slope ceilings where you're able to adjust the light to put it right where you want it. Now, if you have an open floor plan and maybe you have that breakfast bar between the kitchen and the breakfast room, these look great directly over that breakfast bar. Maybe 3 or 4 of these directed straight down on the surface of the bar really look nice, and also work well for any of the task lighting that you may need in your kitchen. The question may be, how many recessed lights would you need in a typical room? Well, here's how this kitchen was approached. First of all, 3 on this side and 3 on this side for more of the even lighting. And then for a little task lighting, 1 light directly over the sink and 2 lights here directly over the bar. Now, of course, determining exactly how many lights you need will be determined by a number of different factors. First of all, how large is the room, how much natural light you have coming in the room, and what wattage that you have in the individual fixture. The lighting professional at the lighting showroom can help you with that.
Let's head outside for Around the Yard with lawn and garden expert Tricia Craven-Worley.
Tricia, when you're planting seeds that small, you better have some pretty good vision.
Yeah, or very dexterous fingers too.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Well, I call this micro-planting, Danny. And you can see I have a flat head toothpick.
Right.
Now this is opposed to a rounded head because that doesn't do what I need it to do.
Okay.
Look what I'm going to do here. I just dipped it in a little bit of water, and these are some snapdragon seeds, and as you can see, it's on the very tip.
Boy, that's small.
Isn't it? But what I'm doing is I'm planting for spring, and I can use the same one or a different one, but I can take these one at a time and put them in this pot. Now I'm going to go for about 6 in this particular pot.
Now, what's the problem in just taking a little pinch of these and kind of sprinkling them in the pot itself?
Well, I could do that, but if I do that, what happens is they will all be clumped together. And when it comes time to divide them, I'm going to run the risk of maybe pulling their roots apart and possibly losing one, if not more of them. Because this is just part of this step. Because this, when they're babies, they're here, and then they'll get planted to another pot before they get out to the big yard.
I see. Okay, and the tray here, you're able to what, plant individual ones?
Yes, this is a great idea. Here I would water all of this to plump it up, and then I would put in 1 seed in each one, and this would start a nice little greenhouse.
Takes a lot of patience. Well, we've looked at a number of very cool interior home improvement projects, some very manageable, others you may need the help of a professional. But the most important thing that you can do when you're improving your home is to do as much research as you can so that you can find out everything you possibly can about the project you're about to take on. That way, whether you do it yourself or hire someone to take care of it, you'll feel more confident all along the process. I'm Danny Lipford. We'll see you next week.
Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner. And don't forget to comment, like, and hit the bell icon so that we can notify you when new videos are posted.
And don't go anywhere, click around and continue the home improving fun.